All right, we're going to start with the nation. Governors-elect at war over funds and projects. Presidential poll credible, says APC, writes U.S. Biden and McCarthy. APC organs should function, National Working Committee members tell Adamu. Suspect killer of lawyer Van D has case to answer, court rules. Why we are wary of government regulation by media owners. NFIU may give governors more time to comply with cash limit. Funeral for Kalu's wife to hold in U.S. Singapore Portable gets bail. Union Bank tenure extension for Naseni CEO Haruna. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The federal government has extended the deadline for cash withdrawal for security votes till April 15th. According to The Nation, they said that the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, granted the extension to governors after intense negotiations. So the April 15 extension will be ratified at a special meeting convened by the NFIU with the Nigerian Governors Forum and others, and it's going to be virtually by 9 p.m. today. They will also discuss the Naira redesign and the controversies that followed everything. So according to the source, they said at the meeting, the NFIU will wait to hear what the state governors have to say, but they have already been informed of the extension ahead of the meeting. Now, the state governors can withdraw cash for security votes up to 15th of April. They will wait to hear what the governors have to say as well, and the extension is only granted for the security votes. I think the governors are saying that the NFIU does not even have the rights to give them this extension or not, but after 9 p.m. today, we'll know what next.
Okay, so the media, in a bold move to regulate itself, independent media complaints have put together something called the National Ombudsman to interface between practitioners and the public. So they found that government regulation of media hasn't really been consistent, and many people don't trust government regulations. So there is like an intervention, and this is the brainchild of the NPO, that's the Nigerian Press Council, and in collaboration with NUJ, NJE, NGE, that's the Nigerian Guild of Editors, Nigerian Union of Journalists, the Go Cup, and of course ours, BON. So these groups have come together and they're forming an ombudsman, and they'll be the one to be able to internally regulate the media. So that is ensuring that they are going to be the watchers of the watchdogs, which are us, you know. So it's a good intervention. Many media practitioners in the past have actually fought for this because they felt that it's difficult to let government regulate media, because sometimes they regulate media based on their own preferences, based on which party is on, how it benefits them or their own objectives. When you have an independent institutional organization that actually regulates, makes it a bit more, give a fair level playing ground. So this is a good thing for many media practitioners, and we hope to see how it goes.
Okay, I wanted to take the Portable story. So Portable, also known, well, his real name is Habib Okikiola.
I never knew his real name. Habib Okikiola. Wow.
Very fine name.
He has pleaded not guilty. He was on 2 counts. They charged him, the first one with unlawful assault of one Osimosu Emmanuel Oluwafemi, and stealing a Yamaha H55 studio monitor, complete Studio 2 interface connection cable, and the second suit was assaulting a police officer when they went to arrest him. So the first one, he got 300K bail, and the second one, 500K bail. The case has been adjourned to April 26th for commencement of trial. He pleaded not guilty to both charges.
Okay, so let me take this sad story of the senator, the wife of Senator Oji Uzo Kalu, the chief whip, and she died at the age of 61 in the United States. The chief whip, Senator Uzo Kalu, put out a press release expressing the fact that with heavy heart is explaining the wife's passing. And he mentioned how she's been a very virtuous woman committed to service of God and humanity, and that there is a memorial service would take place in her honor in the U.S. and everybody has been, a lot of people have been sending condolence messages. The president's message came through Mr. Afemai Islamic, the special advisor on media and publicity, urging friends and family to pray. The president-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, also extends his condolences. Many senators, all of them saying that they daily, their heart goes out to the family.
Yeah.
The Punch. Military vows crackdown on security threats, warns IPOB and others. 1 killed, scores injured as Rivers APC PDP supporters clash. Ramadan, divorce among young couples, alarming, says shirk. Absence of Lagos bishop accused of raping Pastor Stall's trial. Ohaneze Tinubu Sanwo-Olu, others mourn Ojikalu's wife. The federal government approves 173 loan applications, bars illegal online banking. And shareholders protest Owando planned delisting share acquisition. And one key, okay, I've taken that story. So let me take the Sheikh Ayuba Abubakar of the FCT. These days, I've been taking a lot of Sheikh's Ramadan lectures, reports in Punch. He has expressed the worry over the high rates of divorce, especially in the FCT. According to him, this high rate of divorce in India is so alarming that young people in 2 years, he said they are done. They're done with their marriages. That we have discovered that in so many of it, there is no other way than to just divorce and separate them for peace to reign. The implication of this is that we don't follow the Islamic regulation by offering prayers to Allah and guidance before starting marriage. The teaching is for husband to know that his duty and his rights. The teaching is for the husband to know his duty and his rights, and the wife to lower her own duty and rights. Those rules are to bring harmony in our homes. And as painful as divorce is, it's acceptable in Islam. So, but they choose not to do it. So please ensure that you choose the right person and ask for Allah's guidance. I like how these days the Ramadan lectures have been very specific. I think last time I took something about how to
do the fast and do the do.
How to fast and do the and so it's really interesting that it's really teaching people.
So they are very explicit.
Yes.
You know how to break it down. Yeah, I admire them for that. So Port Harcourt, Rivers State's capital, yesterday, supporters of the All Progressive Congress and the People's Democratic Party clashed along Aba Road in the city over the outcome of the March 18 governorship election. So according to the story, they said the supporters of PDP as early as 8 a.m. stormed the office of INEC office along Aba Road and asking the commission to allow them have a joint inspection of election materials by political parties ahead of the election petition tribunal. They had placards, and they took to the streets around that GRA area, and they were demonstrating, made sure that a lot of vehicular movements was paralyzed at the point. Now, the APC as well, so according to the story as well, the APC governorship candidate, Tony Cole, was coming also to get the result sheets for the tribunal as well, and then the two of them, immediately the PDP protesters saw that the APC people were coming. They started hurling stones, and he was whisked away. So he is saying now that they have not allowed him to have that result sheet, so he doesn't know, and they are saying that they are going to be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so they wouldn't allow him get access to what he needs for the petition tribunal. PDP, on the other hand, is saying that no, that they came there to get what they wanted, but it was the APC protesters that started disturbing them and shot in the air, and one of them died. And so they are calling for the heads of the APC members that they should be, especially the governor, Tony Cole, that he must be arrested, governor-elect, that he must be arrested. So it's been this clash between these two political parties.
No, Tony Cole is not the governor-elect, too.
He's the one that is going there.
He's the one that is...
He's the candidate, yeah.
The candidate he wants to pick up.
He wants to, yes, evidence for against the PDP governor-elect. Yes.
So still reviewing... okay, moving on now to date.
No, we still have
it. Punch?
Yes. Yeah. The IATA, that is the International Air Transport Association, the Switzerland-based trade organization, has said that the funds trapped in Nigeria belonging to airlines, foreign airlines, has risen to $802 million. They said that the airlines may be forced to reduce their service in our country because of the blocked, because the countries they might be forced to reduce services in airlines that are blocking their funds from coming in, and is capable of affecting the growth of the African aviation industry. They also mentioned that the total funds locked down in Africa is 1.6 billion, and about half of that is in Nigeria alone. Algeria also has one of the Algeria has the very, very high amount of money also locked within them, and some other countries as well. And the challenge is that it would affect the total African landscape. So they're encouraging the CBN. It seems like an appeal, because the story has been coming up over and over again, for the Nigerian government to find a way to release funds to the foreign airlines, so that they can operate their business.
We have the dollars.
$600 only $1 million. That's a lot
Where
of
will
money.
we see it from?
Okay.
Anyway, I wanted to check the absence of the Lagos bishop for the court case. He had taken... his case came up, I think it was yesterday, and when he got there, he was not there. So the prosecutor said, that when they investigated, the police gave him bail, and when they went there to check him, he seemed to have relocated, but that they are sure that he's seeking. She was seeking adjournment, that they are sure that the pastor was in Abuja for a church program.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the victims...
Yes.
I don't know if you guys remember.
Oh, we didn't run away.
Well.
That was the story about.
You remember that case where he used to invite them from his parish, I think in Ondo, to Lagos, and he would sleep with them or rape them.
The assistant pastor
and the assistant pastor, you remember the story. So
okay,
they are the ones now
pushing
for, saying that they want to put it under the table.
All right, Daily Sun, National Assembly leaders tussle on settles APC. 447 suspected cholera cases reported in Cross River, Ebonyi, Aba, and 3 others. I think I took out the story yesterday. Protesters ground INEC headquarters, one US, UK, other against promoting insurrection. Union Bank's Naseni's EVC tenure extension by Buhari. It won't gag press, but make it work professionally, says Ombudsman. You can't decide Nigeria's sovereignty, Army Chief tells IPOB and other groups. An anti-Tinubu air passenger arraigned, remanded in court. All right, which story are we starting with?
Go ahead.
About protesters they call themselves the natives, grounded activities at INEC headquarters. They also sent a message to the US and the UK and all the international community that, hey, just hold on. The election that took place February 25th in 2023 was successful, and it's been decided. The presidential election has already been done, that they shouldn't make utterances that would promote insurrection within Nigeria. They warn that they have 20 million members across the country who will resist any form of intimidation from other political parties such as Labour and PDP, and that everybody should support the current, respect the current president-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They have a supreme leader called Smart Edwards. He was the one that spoke to the INEC officials, and the group said they were thanking. It was a Thanksgiving or appreciation visit, and that they wanted to pass a strong message against bad losers, according to them, cautioning Labour Party and PDP. That's basically
it. Let me take the story of the Mr. Obiajulu Uja. That's the gentleman that went to discuss the nuisance and disturbance on the plane. He's been arraigned to court, so his lawyer, Ejike Ugo, disclosed this yesterday, saying that he was taken to court and that he was actually bundled from the airplane straight to the hospital. Unfortunately, at the hospital, they didn't have the psychologist or psychiatrist to examine him. And he was worried that at the point of them waiting for another doctor to come, the police then immediately charged him to court. So he is the lawyer saying that at least they should allow the medical examination to come through and get the results of the medical examination, which eventually actually happened. Let them give him some medication before taking him to court. But unfortunately, they didn't listen to him. He was charged immediately to court. And if you recall, this is the man that went on plane and started a lone protest demanding that the president-elect Bola Tinubu must never be sworn in May 29th, and currently he's in custody.
You know, he had started his wahala before he boarded the plane.
Yes.
You know, at that point, he should not even have been allowed to board the plane. Because he was already constituting
A lot of nuisances that happen like that. They do, you know, people have a right of expression. So even if you say what you want to say, it's okay. But when you start disturbing and causing disturbances, that's when you're breaking the law. So there was nothing wrong. If he was talking before.
No.
So he had started.
He had started his wahala, I said. I didn't say
he
he was just talking. He had started wahala and abusing people. And it's not normal to be abusing people now.
Okay.
Not normal.
Move on to Vanguard. Return of bandits. Gunmen terrorize Niger State, Kaduna, Kogi, Bayelsa, and Adamawa. Police DSS storm palace of Igbo leader in Lagos for clues. Tinubu supporters to mobilize 20 million Nigerians against interim government. Nigerian media inaugurates National Complaints Commission. ING plot conclude presidential petitions before May 29th. Agbakoba tells tribunal. Portable meets bill condition regains freedom. May 29th, we reject interim government, says Afenifere. Delta APC crisis deepens as party expels Omo Agege. Rahim, you have case to answer. Court tells Killer Cup. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The Pan-Yoruba Socio-Political Organization, Afenifere, yesterday warned against any steps that can jeopardize the handing over of power to elected officers on May 29, 2023. So in a statement by the National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Jare Ajayi, he said the warning was prompted by reports and some steps being taken that the suspects may be prejudicial to the swearing in of winners in the just concluded elections in May 29. We know that the DSS last week confirmed that there were moves on ground to scuttle the planned inauguration. And so Afenifere is saying that they are concerned about this development because of how it's gaining currency in the country. A lot of people are now talking about it, and even outside the country. And these steps would, rubbish the outcome of the said elections. It will affect everybody from state level to National Assembly to local government to governorship. Everyone will be affected, and this is not what they want for our country, Nigeria. It says they know that protests are being conducted in Abuja, United States of America, over the said result of the elections, and this is going to be disrupting all ties of government as a whole. So they are asking that people exercise a lot of caution. There are laws of the land that are created to address such issues. So if you have issues with the outcome of the governorship or the presidential election, you have to seek redress through the courts. And also the courts should do what they need to do to just, help bring the rule of power to bear. And so we must be very, very careful so we don't end up taking ourselves back from where we're coming.
Okay, let me take the story from former NBA president was saying that we can actually conclude the presidential petitions before May 29th, according to Mr. Olisa Agbakoba SAN, was saying that actually to prevent the interim government that is being purported in some quarters, that it's important for us to complete all the hearing of the petitions before May 29th. I said the tension around the call for interim government is that the presidential election petition may not conclude before the inauguration of the new president. But it's very possible to conclude these petitions provided the court systems are very proactive. According to him, the issues are usually procedural and direction issues. So he says that the tribunals are urged, therefore, to adapt the procedures very familiar with speedy conclusion of arbitration matters. So if they do that, hopefully they can conclude before May 29th, because there are three key issues. It's about the, I think it's section 134 of the Constitution that about the 25% of states and the FCT and a few other issues. So there are about 2 or 3 key issues, and if he believes that they can actually conclude this before May 29th inauguration.
So let me take the Omo Agege. Oh, okay, that was what you were saying.
No.
Okay. The State Executive Committee held a meeting on the 31st of March and at the State Secretariat of APC, and they decided that it was a flag bearer for the governorship election in Delta State, and he's a senator, and they said that they've expelled him, that Senator Omo Agege, as a member of the party. The reasons they sent out this communique, they said that the reasons they gave was that he worked against the party during the governorship election. They said he favored, during the presidential election, and that he favored Labour Party during the presidential election. They also mentioned that he gave more projects, community projects, to his own senatorial districts against other senatorial districts. They said the LG has approved the expulsion and forwarded it to the state. That's from the local government level. And they are calling on the national leadership of the party to approve Omagege's expulsion immediately without delay, and that it would not affect any other member of the party. The party should go about their normal business. But there's been a crisis within the APC, and this seemed like their way of resolving the crisis within the Delta State chapter of APC.
Okay,
So
very
I wanted to take the Eze Indigbo story. Yeah, he was invited. Well, sorry, he tried to invite the IPOB. They said heavily armed policemen and officials of the Department of State Services stormed the residence of the embattled Eze Indigbo of Ajao's estate, and he was arrested. Apparently, they went to his house. He wasn't there. He had gone to a hotel. They found out, went there, and they took him. So they now went back to his house to find incriminating evidence. They took him handcuffed to his house to see if they could find any incriminating evidence, which they didn't. Said they left quite disappointed because they had planned to take him to court, but they haven't found any incriminating evidence against him.
He was just
I think he was just, talking.
From
All right, so I have to run, but there's a story I really think I should get. The cyber defamation. Since we're in the season of cyber defamation and bullying, there's a case that is in Edo State Police Command yesterday placed 5 million naira bounty. Let me give you the name of the person. Her name is Rachel Ebony Osazi Inyomana. She lives in Canada over alleged cyber bullying, stalking, defamation, and impersonation. According to the report, I think it was the commissioner had sent a report to the Nigerian Union of Journalists in Edo State over the alleged bullying of this person. They said that the police had been on her trail to effect her arrest, and intelligence said that she's in Canada. One officer said that the suspect opened multiple Facebook accounts using petitioners' photographs and full name on Facebook and using demeaning, derogatory language to defame the petitioner's personality. The suspect used the internet space to bully and even defame his character. And therefore, the police has put a 5 million naira bounty on whoever knows this person. I think it's time we begin to start taking these people to court so that people know that it's not okay to defame people and just hook up fake news. All right, that is all we can take on today's front page review.